Hey, welcome to the Fun Money Garage YouTube channel. My name is Braden. So I kind of made this channel because I wanted to take you along my build series of my 68 Firebird that's getting an LS swap. Another goal of this channel was to show that an everyday dude can build a motor and make a cool and fast car, especially if you're on a budget. If it's your first time ever building an LS motor, follow along because I'm learning, even though I know how to do some stuff, learning just like you. If this is your first time ever, welding or building a car or learning how to do very simple maintenance, there's gonna be a lot of that on this channel too. A lot of it's gonna be really, really in-depth stuff, but at the same time, I like to have fun. I want to show you how I, come across these projects all together. Kind of like my mentality as I'm building things. So as I find marketplace deals and as I start to build this car, hopefully you get to see kind of the trial and error of some deals that do and don't work out. Whether that's, buying a set of wheels that you've wanted for the car and they don't fit right, so then you got to worry about, trying to sell them again. Small stuff that nobody thinks about, especially on bigger YouTube channels where, money may not be a factor. A lot of times YouTube channels don't necessarily kind of cover that, especially if they got the unlimited budget. So my project era started when I bought a $700 Mustang a few years ago during COVID times. And, I wanted a simple project that I could use while I was in the midst of, being stuck at home. So I found this Mustang, $700. It was running and driving, but it needed a lot of work. So I kind of cleaned everything up. Did a lot of aesthetic stuff more than I did power. I did slap an on3 turbo kit on it, and it ended up making about 420 horsepower. I think we tuned it down to about 385 so that way I didn't detonate it. It was a stick car. So it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, kind of doing a turbo kit for the first time. Had maybe about less than $5,000 into the entire thing. And that was kind of it for that car. The next thing was I wanted to swap to LS platforms because I knew they were easy. I've worked on them before and did very minor maintenance and knew that building an engine was probably my next step in the car project era. I bought myself a 2000 Silverado. It was a 4.8 Vortec. It was only about an hour away from me, so I went and picked it up for about $1,500, if that. So once I bought that, it had a misfire and everything, but I knew I was going to be rebuilding it. I had a little bit of extra cash because I ended up selling that Mustang for $8,000 and used the extra cash to buy myself a 2000 Trans Am. Trans Am would have been a super cool car to swap it into. However, I ended up deciding to go against the LS one just because I knew that it probably wouldn't handle boost too long. So I stuck with the 4.8 and just said, an iron block, I can always throw more boost at it and make some power. So I sold out the Trans Am for a little bit of profit just to kind of recoup some money and hopefully build that 4.8 to something that I wanted. Once I had built the 4.8, I say built, it was a top end build. It had a stock bottom end. It was very simple, turbo cam, trunnions, LS9 head gaskets in it. Very, very simple stuff. But it was my first introduction to tearing down a motor and kind of putting it back together. Took the 4L60 out of it, ended up going with the TH400. Very, very easy, very nice to work with, very simple. Came out of an old Winnebago that I ended up picking up for like $200 and did a simple rebuild, did a manual valve body and slapped it all in the truck. And I think it made close to 600 to 700 horsepower. Now that I knew I could do that, I was like, okay, great. I'm kind of done with this build. A C6 was something that I had always wanted. So $8,000 budget, turned around and ended up selling that truck for $14,800. Made a decent bit of money. And so the guy who actually tuned that Silverado, he actually hit me up and said, hey, I've got a C6. And I was like, okay, what do you want for the C6? Or actually, let's start with this. Is it an LS3 or an LS2? He told me, oh, it's an LS3. I said, great, that's exactly what I wanted. Is it an auto or a manual? Because I'm only getting a Corvette if it's a manual. He goes, you'll never get this. It's a TR6060 manual car. It's a 2010. And I was like, okay, why do you have the car? And so he told me one of my buddies, his looking to sell the car. It's got a little bit of a tapping noise, and he wanted rid of it, so I got it on a good deal. I was like, okay, great, sounds good. I can definitely fix that. What do you want for it? And he said, I'll tell you what. I know you've wanted this car. I got it on a good deal. I'll give it to you for a good deal. Sell it for $15,000 flat. So I said, okay. And cammed the car for me, went through everything, make sure that tapping noise, it ended up just being a lifter, I think a collapsed lifter. And so replaced all the lifters, replaced the cam. I picked up that C6 for $15,000 flat. I then added an exhaust. It ended up getting lowered a little bit, and it got some weld wheels. The interesting thing about the weld wheels is that I took the stock wheels that were on it, traded those for Grand Sport wheels, sold the Grand Sport wheels, ended up buying Z06 Spider wheels, sold the Z06 Spider wheels, and found a set of Weld S71s and 17s, skinny fronts and wide rears, for about $1,200. And after buying and selling the wheels back and forth and trading, I never paid any money for the welds. So got those wheels for free. Great car, super fun, got my mileage out of it. And that kind of brings me to recently when I told myself I need another project. So I sold the C6 because I kind of run its life. Great car, it's still putting around here somewhere. But made good power, and I just knew that I needed something different. I needed to get into something that wasn't, thousands of dollars to make super fast. Parts were pretty expensive for a C6, and I just didn't have the budget for it. So I sold it for $21,000. And $21,000 turned into this. So this is a 1968 Firebird. It's an original 350 car. The 350 is actually sitting right there on the floor. It's got a 350 out of a 74 Pontiac, just because it's running driving. And the original owner decided that they were going to try and rebuild the original Pontiac motor in it, and just kind of lost steam after a while, so they gave up on it and threw this one in there. But overall, it is a super clean car. I've done a little bit of work here and there, just kind of starting out. I added the windshield, back glass, and it's not hard. Definitely, beginner doable. So I bought that for $9,000. Running, driving, clean title. I'm the third owner on it now. And it came with all of these parts. Came with a Power Glide trans. Came with the original block out of it and the pistons, basically a short block. Came with the door cards, rear quarter panel, or rear interior quarter panels, glove box, and some other miscellaneous parts. So that left me to buy a bunch of other stuff. So some of the parts that we got in today is going to be the Holley Terminator X. I ended up getting the EV1 style injector harness, so part number 550-903. Ended up getting a Bluetooth module as well because it's got a GPS speedo in it, and I didn't want to run it off of the T56. We ended up getting a BTR twin turbo camshaft, the 660 lift, dual platinum valve springs with titanium retainers. So we got the rods here, got the pistons here, some of the bearings, TBSS intake, and the throttle body and everything were already here. And some of the other parts were sitting over there as well. So what you didn't see on camera is I actually ended up taking all of the main caps and soaking them in some simple green and using a brass brush and cleaning all of the old oil and residue off of them, so they cleaned up pretty nicely, kind of all the way around. And I also did the main cap bolts and ended up cleaning all of the surfaces in there, getting ready for some of the new ones. Additionally, ended up cleaning up all of the valves, both exhaust and intake. Ended up cleaning up all the push rods because the LQ9 actually came with chrome moly push rods from factory, so that was pretty nice. All of the rocker arms, ended up cleaning up all of those, and there's a little bit of surface rust right there from just cleaning and letting it sit for a second. So I'll go ahead and clean all those up before we go ahead and install the new trunnions that are coming from BTR. CX Racing also makes a twin turbo kit that I will be picking up as well once I sell off a lot of the parts. And hopefully in the next video, I will have a full kind of breakdown of everything that I'm doing, especially as I'm building the motor. So that'll be its own episode. For now, this is kind of an introduction to the channel, kind of what I plan on doing, and just an overview of some of the parts. And hopefully over the next couple episodes, everything will be kind of broken down, and as I progress through, I can take you along with me while I build it and turn this into something cool. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll try and get to them. So later.